Yeah, Mike has the pictures that he can project up here.
Okay. So we got happiness in that area, huh?
Yeah, they're doing a great job up there, and
Okay, good deal.
It's
they
almost
kind
time
of
to
slow. They're
release
not
them, isn't
You
it?
finished.
can, huh?
They need a few more months. They're not finished.
Okay.
Yeah, but we'll see the progress they've made
Okay.
on those pictures.
We just show that at 5 o'clock, okay?
Yes, sir.
That's good enough, item number 2. Which,
Yes, sir. The Planning Commission recommended that this be approved for a crematorium and/or a funeral home.
okay,
It was carried over for a month by request of Mayor Reed.
anybody got any questions, Tommy?
No. I'm good with
All
it.
right. Any issues there, Mr. Tyson? Okay.
The next
All right,
one
number 3.
is it was recommended for approval by the Planning Commission for a mobile home.
Audrey, you got any issue with that?
Yeah, initially when I saw this, I realized it's just one lot, right? It's not the whole subdivision. or
Yeah,
something,
just
it's
one
Yeah,
lot.
that's fine.
Single
That's fine.
lot.
You
They
okay?
got some-
You good?
Yeah, there's
Single
some
lot.
trailers already in that area.
Yeah, I thought there were,
when I
yeah.
looked at it. Yeah.
Across the road from Wholesale Road, there's a bunch of, yeah. All right, good deal. Number 4, Tommy.
Yes, sir. It was recommended by the Planning Commission for approval for an auto repair shop on the owner's property with his home.
Repair shop?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anybody got any questions?
This is closer toward Hopewell, is that right?
Bradley, you okay?
Yes.
Okay.
It's closer toward
Go
Hopewell.
to number 5.
Number 5 was recommended for approval for a mobile home.
Okay. That's you, Bradley, you okay? Yeah. All right. Number 6. That's the one we're going, contractor's got a question about this one. I want to carry this over. Stacy, tell us about it.
This was actually a request from the Finance Department. The Inspections Division already collects this tax or this fee when contractors do work quarterly. They have to pay a certain percentage of the amount of the cost of the repair, and that's when they get permits. There are a lot of jobs that don't require permits, so finance is responsible for collecting that percentage on the cost of the jobs that do not require a permit. So what finance does is they just send out a letter every quarter reminding the contractors that they're required to pay that percentage, and this is just codifying it in the ordinance. It was there, I know back in 91, and even sooner than that. The language isn't there now, and I've talked to several people. They're not sure how the language ended up being removed from the ordinance, but we think it was just an oversight when they moved the portion of the inspections percentage to the Inspections Division, that it just got shifted over there.
So it doesn't really affect the contractors and their cost?
The practice is already in place.
Yeah, so it's not going to really be a change for what they do.
No.
Just an issue for us, okay. All right, that'll probably satisfy the contracts.
You said we're gonna carry it over?
I think we'll just go ahead and vote on it. That's not going to be a factor. I'll tell them what the deal is. Okay, the Cracker Barrel, number 7. They're going to put beer in there, and it's in my district, and the beer everywhere around there, so it ain't a whole lot of change. Just Cracker Barrel with beer. It doesn't sound right, does it? But anyway, black eyed peas with beer. Somewhere that comes to. I'm good with that. Number 8 is the,
It's a full liquor license.
you pronounce it now.
I'm good with that.
You good with it? Good. I'm glad to call that one now. Yeah, Brenda's got to call that name when she gets around to it. Okay, the sushi bar on Minnie Brown, that's mine. It's okay. Boys Road Top Spot. CC, did you talk? Y'all
Yeah,
talk about this?
let me just bring us up to date on this. And I think the last
CC,
time...
get your microphone.
Okay. Yeah, I've been talking, and I spoke with Mr. Larkin on that, and I sent out something to the council. You guys read it, and I got your thoughts. This guy has came before the council about 7 months ago, and I think he wanted a lounge liquor license. At that point, we denied him. We went to court. The neighborhood is totally against it. But I went by there to visit this location. The guy has invested a lot of money in this thing as far as a restaurant liquor license, where he wants to be able to turn it into like a sports lounge or a sports thing. We got a good menu. Everything's coming. And with COVID, he's only authorized to have 49 people in the place. And I thought some of the concerns was the parking on Forbes Road. He has created some additional parking to try to get people in and out. And well, he has a great business, but his customer that comes to sit might want a glass of wine or a drink to watch a ball game, and we're denying that based on, and I think the thing is going on with one or two people within the association that's totally against it. I spoke with Mr. Larkin. He has mixed emotion. He thinks the guy deserved, but he want to uphold what the association is asking for. But, you know, he asked that we carry this over. But my thing is, when we talk with the people that's opposing this tonight, let's find out if 2 weeks don't help them come to an agreement. If 2 weeks don't come to agreement, I think this is a young African-American man that grew up in that community that's trying to give back, and we're not affording him an opportunity. If you can't get an opportunity at home to do business, where would you get it at? So, you know, I'm in favor of it. If you want to carry it over for 2 weeks, Mr. Jim Wright, we can. But if they're not willing to work to try to get this guy an opportunity after he have invested, showed 6 to 7 months that he's trying to operate the right way, I'm willing to just offer up the question tonight for
Okay.
up or down.
May I make a point? They've made an application for a restaurant retail liquor, and that's what y'all denied, and it has been appealed to court.
He's appealed to court. So
Yes, sir.
why would it come back to us if he's in a
He made a new application.
made a new application? Okay, all right, so that's where we at. Okay.
Am
Can
I
you
not
do
right?
that
Am I not
before-
right, Stacy, that what's before the judge is a restaurant retail liquor?
Yeah, it is.
Right.
Can he reapply before they rule on that one?
There's nothing that prohibits him from making another application.
And I think, you know, one of the things that he talked, and he's gonna come down, he have some members from some of the churches in the community that's in favor, they eat there. You know, I just understand if you come in there and you wanna watch the game with what he has invested in with the TVs, and like we're saying, it's not a lounge, it's not a club, it's a restaurant. And I mean, when we look at the 2 or 3 items before, when we talk about a restaurant liquor license, it's not a problem. And I understand the community, but if you're gonna do business and try to revamp some of these old properties, which was an old gas station or something, you know, the guy has invested a lot of money. I think he deserves an opportunity to show. And as long as we restrict him to restaurant liquor license, we can kind of control if he's not operating the way he should be operating.
Well, I think, if I could say, I think that I spoke, anyway, I think another concern that the community had is that the last business that was there did the same thing. They opened up as a restaurant and they turned it into a club or bar, lounge, or whatever, but it became a after-hour spot. It wasn't just a restaurant. And I think to assure them, because I agree with you, we got to kind of get them together. We don't need to just, you know, and I feel like we held him up all this time to just say, well, it don't matter, give it to him. Well, you know, we didn't, you know, we should at least do something. And so I think one of the things we could do is just, you know, assure the community that in 6 months, we'll at least look at them. We're not going to say we're going to deny them or any of that, but we'll grant it, and then in 6 months, we'll just
Look
have
at
him
it.
come back down here and tell us how well his business doing, and hopefully he'll have some more community members with him
have
saying, I
everybody
love
come
what they
every
doing
6
up there, they give it, you know?
Right.
I mean, just to make the community know that we're not just trying to throw a club in there and we don't care, because we do care, but
Right.
we want businesses like you know, said, we want this young man to operate, we
Right.
want him to make business, so.
What
so
are you
now,
saying,
this-
Audrey?
Yeah.
Do what? Pull your mic over, Brantley. Brantley, pull your mic over. Pull your microphone. Can't hear you, Mike. Pull your microphone. Can't hear
Limit
you.
the hours of operation on him.
What is it?
Close him at midnight. If
Make
it's
him
a
close at
if it's a
midnight.
restaurant,
I don't
ain't
know
no restaurants
How late
open.
is he open now?
Well, he's open.
11?
I think he closed pretty early because like he's
closed
not
on
selling
Sundays.
anything but sell
He closed on
food.
Sunday, and I think he closed at 11.
Yeah.
10 during the week, 11 on Saturdays.
Well, will his hours change if he get a license?
I guess we
for
can-
I guess that's
alcohol?
what we have
We
to
can
ask
make a
him.
restriction.
Right, so-
Well, I mean, like Applebee's, what time do they close? What time
There you
does
go.
these other places close? What time does Jubilee
I
Restaurant
mean, and I
close?
think those things give the community some sense of this is not gonna be an all-night,
There you go.
place, a
Yeah,
club.
I think if you put
Is it a
That's
lounge
what
liquor?
we
Is it, what's the law say on that? 2 o'clock?
And then, Councilman Mitch, Not Mitchell, Calhoun, yeah.
Look
I'm
at me
looking
real
you.
good now.
Did you say he can only
Okay,
have
that's
49
limit his
people?
hours, okay?
Yeah, that's his max, 49 people.
Is that
me
before
get that.
COVID or after COVID?
That's before
Cece,
COVID.
leave
So
that.
So
it's
he's
25, 30
okay,
people.
okay,
Leave that, and that's limit his hours. I think that's a good idea.
okay.
All right, number 11 is Lions Pride. Looks like all these are, you got a bunch of Lions Pride on here. Air Base Boulevard.
I don't have a problem with that. It's
All of
just
'em are-
service station.
They just basically renewals.
Yeah, I don't have a problem.
I don't think, I'm good with, yeah, Air Base Boulevard. Last year is McGee Road. That would be, that's yours?
Which, on what, no, not
Number
McGee Road.
12. McGee Road, that's you.
That's you, CC?
CC, that's you? Number 12.
Oh, yes, I'm fine with that.
You okay? Another one on McGee Road. It must be you too.
Yes.
You good?
Yeah, we love
13.
gas on the
Number
hero.
14 is the one on Pier Hill Road, Purple Cow.
I'm
Is that-
good.
You good, Richard? Okay. Then you got an appointment to the museum board by Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Okay. And then you got 4 tear 'em down tonight? Okay. And then you got our nuisance. Okay.
Mr. President,
Yes,
I
sir.
have 2 other appointments that I'd like to pass out at this time.
Okay.
Sir.
What is this?
What's going on with this? Why we so?
No. That, I think that's in Clay. He brought it to me.
Pass it down.
I guess he made a point.
Well, you gave me one.
Did you hand me this?
Another one? Okay.
Tracy had it.
So I gave it to Stacy. I just wanted you guys to have a
Okay,
copy.
I'll call
Okay.
it. Let's see, you got Plain City and
We need some clean city appointments.
I got one on Al Grove, the other one. Victory, okay, I'm on Victory. Okay, Plain City, okay.
Okay. Okay. Everybody else need to get somebody on that, don't they?
CC, I got something up here on my desk. Utility issue on Emerson Street.
You got him on.
CC, did you hand this out?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Clay handed it out.
What is it?
You got one.
What's the deal?
What is it?
Point. Oh, Rich.
Oh, yes, I've got his. I thought you said. Okay.
What do we need to do on this?
On,
You or CC or Clay? Okay. CC, you want
want
to
you to
talk to
elaborate on this.
Brandon about it?
Basically, it was brought to me. I saw the guy. He brought it by my office, and he just wanted me to give this to the council. What the concern is that a citizen made a complaint on something not going on another residence, and the inspector that went out, according to this, allegedly gave the information of the person that's making the complaint to the person that the complaint was being made against. So he's looking at that might be some repercussion. So I'm just trying to make sure that's not the way that we do business when we're going out on a complaint through 311, that we tell Audrey Graham that Cornelius Calhoun called and made this complaint. So that's why he shared that and gave it to me when he brought it, just shared with the council, and I just gave it to Clay to give it out because it's in
Okay,
District
we need to
7.
give it inspections.
It's an administrative call. It's not nothing that the council needs to act on.
Just information deal.
And Cece,
Yes, ma'am.
if this person, just so you know, were to make a public records request for the 311 information,
Yes.
they would get the name.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Okay.
But I just don't understand why an inspector would share that information.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure you knew that.
Okay.
And I'd like to know from Mr. Russell, I see him about to get up, is that normal protocol for the inspectors to do that? Or was that just a special, just so we'll know, at least we'll know what's going on.
The inspectors are to never give who the complainant is. It's just good business. And when we come out to make an inspection, what I tell them to do is a 360-degree inspection. Because if you nail this group,
Right.
the next day what they're going to do is call our office and say, well, have you looked at so-and-so's property over here next door? And we're right back out there wasting my gas and their tax-paying money. So we're going to hit all four of what we see right there, right then and there. If there's any other violations, we're going to address those issues then. But my people, and I stress this to them, they do not tell who it is that contacted or made the complaint.
Right.
So I guess my question, do we know for sure that Mr. Guest even did acknowledge the information that's stated in this letter?
I have not seen the letter to investigate. And I would need to get back to y'all. with-
And Jerry, like I said, that was allegedly. I hadn't investigated. It was given to me today, and I just brought it. I think he said he sent it
You
to.
just do that, you're good. Just
Yeah.
investigate, see what you got.
Well, and from time to time, we run into situations where people make those statements and it doesn't transpire. I've dealt with this before, I believe, with Ms. Graham on one, so.
Okay.
But I will look into it. I would say this, if it was in relation to Mr. Al Guest, he's been one of my people for over 20 years.
Okay.
And so he's a bit seasoned and he understands what he's supposed to do and not do.
Okay.
Certainly, I'll look into this and report back.
Thank you, sir.
Very good, thank you. Okay, anybody else got anything else we want to talk about? I think we had a general discussion on panhandling a while ago, and
Yeah, that's what I want to talk about today.
Stacy, that's been an issue for all of us, and I think Stacy had the rest of the story, basically, it's whatever it is right now.
We were involved in some litigation, and we have looked at, there are two state laws. One is a criminal law against loitering, and the other is a rules of the road, basically not being able to panhandle on the sides of the roads. And when we got the lawsuit, and actually when we drafted an ordinance last year, we looked around the country at the different laws, how the courts were ruling, and the courts were ruling really against the municipalities in any way they're trying to enforce any of the laws that prohibit panhandling, to the extent that even there were some that would limit how close panhandlers could get to you if you're at an ATM machine. And the court said you can't limit that behavior, that they have a right on public property to walk up to you while you're at an ATM machine just like anybody else would. They just can't be aggressive or threatening, and if they are, then you call the police. So during this litigation, we have basically agreed not to enforce those two laws right now. We're pretty confident, and we've reached out to outside counsel who does constitutional law, that's what their practice is. And we've all pretty much agreed that if we were to move forward with the litigation, that the courts in the 11th Circuit and the Supreme Court would hold that the laws on the books right now, as they're written, would be unconstitutional because they're more narrow than what we've seen struck down across the country. So we can't enforce them right now. Really, if they're on public property, they can pretty much, as long as they're not being aggressive or threatening, they can panhandle. If they're on private property, the property owners can tell them not to come back on their property. They can be trespassed. At that point, the police can take action. But right now, I think, and Chief Finley and I have talked, they're doing what they can. They're going and they're telling these individuals to move, and hopefully they do, but there's really no recourse if they don't. Based on what we were able to discern during the course of the litigation, and it didn't move very far, we were the only municipality actually enforcing these two state laws. And that's why we were named as the defendant in the lawsuit. So we haven't been able to determine that any of the other municipalities throughout the state were even arresting people on these. And the municipal court, if we were arresting under our ordinances, was ordering them to be locked up because they would be arrested, some of them, 10, 12 times. And as soon as it got to circuit court, the judges were outraged that we were locking these people up and they were dismissing the cases or releasing them from jail. So our hands are really tied as far as what we can do when they're on public property.
Sad day. Okay, thank you.
One other issue about the ATVs. I know I talked to Mr. East about what we can do. I know the police department has a no pursuit policy. I think we were looking at something that Philadelphia had in place for as an ordinance. I think we talked about the method of impounding, but the only thing Mr. East advised me that due to COVID that they might not have their due process within a timely fashion. I was just saying, what other method? Because my district is just overran with either four-wheelers or those dirt bikes.
I know he was going to do some research, and he mentioned that you mentioned Philadelphia. See what, number one, their state laws are, and see if their state laws, because a lot of times in any of the issues we address, what we run into is a state law that prohibits us from taking certain action. But he was going to look around at the other ordinances, and we have a method of researching a database of ordinances to see what other states, what other cities are doing. I know Chief Finley and I talked about this before and what options were out there, and unfortunately, due process is a big thing, and when you're impounding these ATVs, it's not necessarily the owner who's riding it, and then they're limited on being able to get the property back. And I know he's researching it. Hopefully he's going to find something and be able to present something to you within the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody got any other questions? We'll adjourn to 5 o'clock.